Cool, right? Look at the craftsmanship. I mean, I even got my nostrils right. It's just nice to know, years after I'm gone, this guy will be standing the test of time. He's melting. Oh, geez. No. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Holiday magic is you. Max, what makes you, you.
It's a feast week presented by Lowe's. Coming your way from Conway, South Carolina at the HTC Center for the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Game 3 of 4 today in the quarterfinal round as you're watching the Myrtle Beach Invitational here on ESPN. First two games of the day, Middle Tennessee knocking off Ohio in overtime 83-81 to advance, and USF knocking off Portland 74-68. Both of those two meet tomorrow in the winner's bracket on ESPN2. Mike Corey, Randolph Childress, welcome to Game 3. Bradley and Texas State will follow it up with Princeton and Wright State later tonight. But let's start with the Bradley Braves. Duke Dean, one of their stars, will be watching in just a few moments here tonight.
The preseason Missouri Valley Player of the Year is a quintessential leader for this team. He does it all. When they need a bucket, he finds a bucket, or he creates it for one of his teammates. Just leads this team and puts him on his back when he has to, but he has his hand full tonight. He's competing against another really high-level guard in Texas State, Caden Gums. He's a scorer at all three levels. Big-time player. Whoever wins this matchup goes a long way to leading their team to the winner's bracket here.
Second year for Gums for this Texas State team. Coming into this game today at 2-2 against Bradley at 3-1. Our officials for tonight's game, Bert Smith with Ed Crenshaw and Bharat Ramnanan. Two pretty good games early on here so far in the Myrtle Beach Invitational.
We have. Both games have gone down to the wire. Obviously, one overtime game, and then the other one there went down to, I think, one of the very last possessions of the game. And let's hope we get a good one here.
Joshua Ogaro was down low, got tied up. They called the jump going over to Bradley here as they get underway from the HTC Center in Conway, South Carolina. Here's your starting five for the Braves. Who else besides Dean we're going to keep an eye on here tonight?
You got to keep an eye on Darius Hannah. He's also a first-team Missouri Valley player. And look out for number 3, Zeke Montgomery, former Rhode Island transfer. He started his career at Bradley, went to Rhode Island, and then he's come back home. And Coach Waddell has welcomed him with open arms. He's excited. He's super excited to have him back. And he's a really solid scoring big guard, which is critical when your best player, Duke Dean, is just listed as 5'8".
Starting five for Texas State here. You talked about Gums to begin. Ogaro comes in leading the team in scoring at 23 points in the last game. Number 23 for them. He gets the rebound and puts it up and in for the first points of this one.
And you got to watch this. This is Texas State wants to jump the game up, and one of the ways they do it is their guards actually attack the offensive glass. And you don't always expect that when you're, as a guard, you usually run it out on the wing, and they're going to have to stay inside and rebound the basketball.
Zeke Montgomery missing on the 3. Texas State back the other way. Pope. It's Tylen Pope.
Bradley team just runs. Zeke Montgomery doesn't call a glass and knock that in straight away. They want to run their offense and be rhythm. They're just turnover prone. That's the only thing that slowed this team down. They just haven't taken care of the basketball. We saw that in their practice yesterday. Coach Waddell really got on his group. And Texas State wants to jump this game up. They know they just can't run an up and down the floor, free-flowing style game. They do a really good job of putting pressure on you by drawing fouls, and expect them to mix their defense up as well as attack the paint in many ways.
Gums mid-range with a long Pope the offensive rebound. This is Tyrell Morgan who takes it to the hole for Texas State.
All 5 guys on the floor for Texas State can attack you off the bounce. They get 20 points a game from the free throw line. So when you're not accustomed to doing that, the bigs here will be challenged quite a bit of guarding on the perimeter and guarding off the dribble for the Bradley Braves.
Hannah. Atlason for 3. That's Almar Atlason, sophomore from Iceland, and Bradley's up 6-4 early.
One of the most difficult things to defend is a big that stretches the floor and shoots 40% from 3 like Atlason does. When you're accustomed to playing inside, he stretches the floor and opens the paint up for the guards to penetrate.
Good runner there by Gums. He's going to go to the free throw line for 2. Brian Wardle, the head coach for Bradley. And you know, when we talked to him about this yesterday, what has he done to build this program to get it to this level, right? 10 years now, keeping guys, retention. He had a lot of good things to say about that.
He did. I think the biggest thing he said is the consistency, is how he approached coaching his players. And I think when you get a player or a coach like this and guys stay at this level in this time that we're in right now, it says a lot about the coach. And he had guys in Duke Dean that could have gone on to a higher level, you know, and Darius Hannah that could have gone on a higher level. These guys chose to come back to Bradley to win, to be a part of something special. And he loves his administration. He loves his AD. They've invested in the program to help him retain his staff. And he's excited about the future of this program.
Montgomery and a step back jumper there for Bradley, and they lead at 8-5.
This Bradley Braves team is really efficient as well with the basketball. They're shooting 52% from the field because they attack you at all 3 levels. They'll take mid-range shots, they'll take shots at the rim, and they obviously will knock down threes when given the opportunity.
Here's O'Garo working his way in, lost it, got it back, and lays it in for 2.
Well, guys, at that 2-guard spot, this lineup has changed. There's been so much changing of alignment from guys being in and out of the lineup for the Texas State. They're going to play a lot. They really want to attack the paint off the dribble and draw fouls. And they're getting to the rim here early.
Shot clock inside 10. Braves working around. Christian Davis has it. Rejected. Going in there was Morgan to knock that one down, and Texas State back the other way.
Great weak side. Great energy from Texas State, and you worry, can they sustain this energy with a limited bench? These guys are playing really, really hard, but they really only go 7 deep. They don't have enough healthy bodies right now. You worry about them as the tournament goes on.
It was Montgomery that started that, dived in on the floor to get the ball, and he got it back for 2. Montgomery's got 7 of Bradley's 10 points to get started here, 4.5 minutes in.
Really good skill set from Zeke Montgomery. Really does it all. Very efficient offensive player. Just another example of when we talk about the environment that Coach Walters has set here for Bradley. I mean, having a player like this, there's a lot of high major programs that's looking for a guy at 6'6" that's shooting over 50%, 60% from 3 and almost 50% from the field right now. He just knows what he is.
Nice steal from Morgan. So Tyrell Morgan, who was dealing with a concussion, didn't play in the last game, was told that he was going to be available and got the starts here tonight.
Yeah, he didn't find out until yesterday that he was going to be available. He missed the last game. And again, they're coming out really aggressive on the defensive end of the floor. Again, we need to monitor, can they sustain this? This has been their issue with a program that's just been decimated with injuries by, I think, 2 of the better coaches, up-and-coming coaches in college basketball that have had tremendous success for their programs.
Christian Davis knocking down the 3. Bradley's now 3 of 4 from 3-point range. And it takes us here to our first timeout of the evening. 14:22 to go first half. Bradley leads it here early by 4. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by VisitMyrtleBeach.com. Find where you belong at the beach.
Holiday magic is you. Max, what makes you, you.
I've heard it all my life. Don't buy fancy coffee. But here's the thing. I like my daily dose of vanilla latte. With SEFQ's help, I know I'm managing and spending my money in a way that works best for me. And I can keep track of my spending just like that. Boom, mobile app. I'll take a muffin too. Since I got an account with SEFQ, I'm doing things my way, and that's what really matters. Ooh, that's good.
Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina, the 6th annual Myrtle Beach Invitational here from the HTC Center. Bradley with the early advantage over Texas State. Mike Corey alongside Randolph Jonas. Good to be with you here for the tournament. We're just getting underway. This is game 3 of 4 today. We got 4 more on Friday, 4 more on Sunday. So far, so good. 2 early games coming down to the wire, actually.
Great games. Good games right down to the wire, decided in the last minute of the game. Obviously, the Middle Tennessee State and Ohio game going in overtime. And we got a really good start here. So let's hope we have a third great game followed up by the next.
Middle Tennessee with a win over Ohio, and South Florida knocking off Portland to go to the winners bracket. Terrence Johnson, who is the head coach for Texas State. And when we talked to him yesterday, he's not playing with the full complement of players right now, right? They're dealing with a lot of injuries and a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. It's kind of hard to get a feel right now for where this Texas State team could be given their current state.
And you see his resume there, a guy in 4 full seasons. He's already won Sun Belt Coach of the Year twice. And I don't know if there's been a team in the country that's been decimated with injuries the way. This is 3 years in a row this team is struggling. They've had 74 consecutive games without a full healthy roster, ranging over 3 years. And that's just really challenging to have any consistency in the program. And they've so far been, managed to do so, which is credit to not only TJ, but his entire staff.
His first 2 years as the head coach, they had won 39 games, right? Back-to-back Sun Belt regular season conference championships. And then, to your point, over the last 3, including this one early on, been a little bit of a struggle with the injuries.
And he shared with us that some of the injuries were coming from guys they didn't know they had the injuries when they transferred into the program. They found out they were worse when they actually got them checked out.
Hamet Jonovic was fouled underneath.
Jonovic brings a physicality when he comes in. He changes the game because he loves contact.
Foul before the inbound. And it's going to be on Tyrell Morgan for Texas State. Picks up his first. Bradley so far 3 of 4 from three-point range. Hannah getting by O'Garl, and he takes it in.
Hannah's improved his perimeter skill set. He's played a lot in the mid-post in the past, and now he's extended his range to 3. The ability to take you off the bounce now allows him to play more on the perimeter.
Hannah leading this team in scoring, 13.8 points a game. His first points of the afternoon, 15-9. Bradley leads it.
Those are the type of plays other than Drew Drennan turning that over there. They need to jump the game up and get as many extra possessions as they possibly can and try to run out in transition like this.
What about in a tournament like this when you don't quite have the depth that you were hoping for, right? I mean, how do you plan this out? You know you're playing 3 games in 4 days regardless. And you're hoping, of course, it's in the winner's bracket. Nice little fadeaway there by Drennan, but what do you do?
I mean, there's nothing you can do when you're Texas State because you're limited. You really, when you get past your starting backcourt, Drew Drennan is a really talented player. He's a double-digit scorer for these guys, but he's coming off the bench. And Coach didn't want to start him because of the injuries that he sustained already. He needs someone coming, ball handling and making decisions there, but Bradley's coming out with a hot hand behind the line.
Hannah knocking down another 3, and they really got to get on the outside shooters of your Texas State. They're 4 of 6 now, Randolph from the outside.
Well, the concerning part, again, when you have a 5-man that can stretch the floor, and then now they go to the bench and rotations change when your Jonovic is in there and his physicality, and now you're worried about him rolling to the rim.
Foul on Texas State.
You know, here's Hannah again. Get to that left hand off the drive. Maybe got away with a little hook there. Had the smaller defender on him, took him to the rack. Just when you worried about, you close out late, worried about him driving, he knocks down the three, showing you that improved range at the three-point line and why he's first team All-Missouri Valley Conference player.
That's a second foul on Joshua Ogaro, and he goes out, number 23 for Texas State. Third team foul so far in the first half, just one foul on Bradley.
And that's the last thing you need as a perimeter player if you're Texas State to get an injury. From this point on, if they have to substitute in the backcourt, it'll be with the walk-on Jalen Jones.
Bradley again. Davis with the three. That's his second so far here of the afternoon. 5 of 7 now with the Braves from three-point range. They lead by 10.
They were this Bradley team was the one team that came in yesterday and we watched them practice and thought, wow. I mean, they really got after it, and it's reflecting in how fast they've started. And it's not surprising to us because we were blown away with how intense their practice was. They came in yesterday ready to roll. I mean, and they really got after it.
Correct. Brian Wardle told us, he said that's what they do with these shoot-arounds. You know, sometimes teams are just kind of walking through stuff, and again, it's showing what they're doing right now. Another bucket, 23-11. The intensity is there, and the Braves lead it by a dozen early.
I've heard it countless times. It doesn't matter where you get your car loan, but it should. When I got my car loan, SEFQ's experts and resources gave me all the help I needed, plus competitive rates and flexible terms. And their free pre-approval let me know my budget right away. So I knew exactly what I could afford before I even got here. And now, this ride is all mine.
Cooper Flagg averaging 16.2 points a game for Duke and 9.5 rebounds off to the fast start as you would expect for the Blue Devils. And tomorrow night on ESPN2, number 12 Duke traveling to number 17 Arizona. That's at 10:30 Eastern. And then North Carolina is in Hawaii. That's at 12:30 a.m. We'll have it for you tomorrow on ESPN2. UNC, of course, that three-point loss on the road at Kansas. Looking forward to those two tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's a big game for Duke as well, and for the ACC, which has struggled coming out of the gate. And for Duke, you know, they played Kentucky and lost that game in a neutral site. This time, they're going on a true road game. It's not normal for the Duke Blue Devils to do that this early in the year. Credit to Shire. It's a big game to get these guys to see if they can take another step. Let's see how they respond from the loss earlier this week from Kentucky.
All right, so what's going on here, Randolph? 23-11, Bradley. They've knocked down 5 threes. And Texas State now dealing with early foul trouble with Ogaro, who's out with 2 fouls.
And that's not something you look forward to. Caden Gumps struggling right now with the length of Bradley at the rim. And this team is just, they put so much, they attack the rim so much, and you attack the paint off the bounce, but when they start knocking down threes with the execution and what they actually run on the offensive end of the floor, it makes them a difficult team when shots are falling.
Jaquan Johnson is in. He got it knocked away, and it's going to stay with Bradley.
Texas State knows if they have a chance in this game, they know how efficient Bradley is on the offensive end. They got to junk the game up, and sometimes even when they're in man, they got to go some zone. They know they have to junk it up, but let's see what they do aside from just playing a physical style. But I think a team that just has more bodies than they have, and they're gonna have to pick their moments and when they try to attack.
2 seconds on the shot clock, and Bradley getting bailed out as Connor Dillon got hit, and he's going to head to the free throw line here.
That's a tough call for Drew Drennan. He stepped on his foot. I thought he did a really good job of containing him. And look at him. He stepped on Gum's foot and slips. And that's actually defensive way you're taught. You got you call a dig at a teammate to try to help, and I think Drew Drennan's telling the ref now, like, that wasn't me.
Connor Dillon's numbers, but more importantly for him outside of basketball, majoring in nonprofit leadership. He's volunteered at a bunch of soup kitchens, was also an altar server in high school. His parents, Noreen and Tim, and has done a lot of great work outside of the game. He said you don't see it often, right? That his major, nonprofit leadership.
No, you don't.
Something special.
Him, and you got to be happy for him too. He gets to come home. He was at a D2 school, and it's big for guys when they get to come home from a D2 and go D1. And he's an important player for this team. He's a deadly shooter from behind the three-point line, and forces you to have to stay close to him and allows more freedom for his teammates.
He's got two brothers. One of them's a freshman at Belmont. Is now playing in the same conference here as his brother as well. Dillon heads to the bench for a little bit. This foul is knocked out of bounds by Davis. 6 on the shot clock for Texas State to shoot.
A lot of responsibility now on the backcourt of Gums and Drennan. These two guys have got to get more efficient and get involved. Gums has struggled to start, and Drennan is actually their best three-point shooter.
Bradley again here on the run. Here comes Montgomery. Duke Dean. Another three ball. That's off the mark this time by Montgomery. 5 of 8 now from the field of the Braves. Back the other way. Drennan wants a three. That's long. And a foul on the rebound.
You don't mind him, Drew Drennan, taking those shots. He's got to get going. Can't let the game come to him. This game will get out of hand early. They're already down 13, and he's just taking his second shot of the game. He's got to get really aggressive here.
Almar Atlason was called for the foul, his first for Bradley. Gums takes a seat.
Coach Johnson has to substitute those two guys. They're their only ball handlers he had, and Drennan and Gums. So he's trying to keep one of them fresh at all times. And a few minutes of the game, they'll play together.
Wild runner inside by Pope as he hits the deck. Grimacing as he gets up. Drennan for 3 at the top. Another foul. But called on Texas State this time.
I think Pope and those guys inside a little bit frustrated.
It's a second on Morgan Randolph, and now he's got 2. Nothing run here for Bradley as they lead it by 13. Under 9 to play in the first half.
Bradley's going to their bench quite early here. Keeping fresh bodies on the floor, trying to wear Texas State down, knowing they have a thin bench. And the fouls are starting to pile up, which is going to be a problem.
Pope picks up the foul with a size advantage here for Bradley.
And what do you do? I know Coach Johnson's thinking he doesn't want to go zone because Bradley started hot from the line. He probably had that in his back pocket. They've come out, they've knocked down 5 threes. He doesn't want to go zone, but they're so undermanned inside.
Duke Dean. Montgomery, and he's fouled.
Just so smooth, he just glides across the floor there. Just knocked down a couple of threes, didn't want to settle. He was driving to close out. And they're just so unselfish there, and he drives to close out a Pope. Forces Turner to come over late, creates the foul and the contact there.
It's already 17 fouls here on Texas State in the first half. Coach Terrence Johnson was saying, hey, let's take a look at this if you could. Thought our guy might have gotten an elbow to the face on the drive, so that's what they're going to take a look at here.
You know, one thing for the sake of the game in situations like this, I'd like to suggest that we could do. If we can have that third official there that they can just go to so we can get quickly. I think teams can say things and do things that can allow them to get so much time that it's just a free timeout in the sense when teams do things like this. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at there to see if it was the elbow.
I don't see how they can call anything for that to be intentional. It's just driving the basketball there. And
Right arm.
it's definitely not on Montgomery if it is. I don't know who they're looking for. Maybe they're saying it's off the ball, but it can't be.
Not seeing anything there on that. Pope went down initially, number 9 for Texas State, but we didn't really see an elbow there. And then it was Montgomery that got fouled by number 30 Christian Turner for Texas State.
But this is what I mean. I think if we have an official at these games that can help speed this process up, that's there, that can look at it. So when Burt Jones or any official comes over, he can already have reviewed the play, and we can just keep the flow of the game going. I think I know we've changed the rule and coaches can challenge and things of that nature, but I think if we can have that another official or someone at the table that can already expedite these challenges and these requests, I think it'll make the game flow a lot better.
Ed Crenshaw's coming over to let us know. Okay, just incidental contact on the drive. That's what we thought. It's okay. But see, here's the thing. When you're watching at home, and to your point, Randolph, when the officials go over there, they're looking at some different looks. Sometimes they don't have the same looks, obviously, that we're showing you in sequence. You know, they'll get to them.
Right.
And then if you do have to make a change, you got to get the time right.
Right.
You got to get the player. You got to get all that stuff. So the goal always is to get the call right. You know, so I know sometimes it may take a few minutes, but there's a lot that they have to go through. And now Montgomery at the free throw line, he's got 2 shots. And if you're Terrence Johnson, I know you're trying to look for everything.
You're grabbing at straws here, man. You're trying to figure this out. His team is behind here early, and he doesn't have any answers. They can't get stops, and they're struggling to score. And he's got to figure out a way to get his point guard going, his backcourt going. And he, immediately came right back in with Gums and Drew Drennan on the floor together, and he's trying to keep one of them fresh at all times. But I think if this is the point of the game, he's got to get his 2 guys out there and get them going.
Foul on the Braves up top. Javon Johnson with his first. Johnson, one of 3 freshmen on this Braves team. He's averaging about 15.5 minutes a ball game. One that really sees the time so far. But to your point earlier about this Bradley team of guys sticking around, staying with the program, they got 5 seniors that rotate a lot out there. And there's something to be said about not only experience, but experience with the same coach, system, team, right? That says a lot.
Continuity is a hard thing to have in 2024. It's just not something that coaches often have the luxury of doing, and Coach Warder has that with his group and returning 6 of his top 8 guys.
Another foul again on Johnson. Bradley shooting 64% from the field in this game here so far, 62% from three-point range, 9 of 14, and then 5 of 8. And on the other side, your Texas State, you're 5 of 18 overall. That's at 28%. Good inbounds there, but underneath, Turner unable to hit. Offensive rebound, and a foul's going to be called. That was Austin Green, and he got hit by Duke Dean. We've got a timeout. 3rd game of 4 here today, the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Back with more after this.
I've heard it all my life. Don't buy fancy coffee. But here's the thing. I like my daily dose of vanilla latte. With SEFQ's help, I know I'm managing and spending my money in a way that works best for me. And I can keep track of my spending just like that. Boom, mobile app. I'll take a muffin too. Since I got an account with SEFQ, I'm doing things my way, and that's what really matters. Ooh, that's good.
Bradley 26, Texas State 11. We've got 7:57 to play here in the first half. What about over down south in the Charleston Classic, which continues tonight on ESPN? Winners today with Drake 80-69 over Miami, their first win over an ACC team since 2017. Bennett Sturts with 21 points, and then Florida Atlantic knocking off Oklahoma State 86-78.
That's what you got to show up and play these games. I mean, neither team was favored. And how about Drake? I mean, I thought Miami was a team I was expecting to take a big step, and I can expect them to be a factor in the ACC, but it's a great win by Drake.
Free throws here for Austin Green. First year with the program, coming over from Pearl River Community College. Got this press into action a little bit more than.
Yeah, he's been forced to play a lot more. He's only got one made field goal on the year. He's actually scored all of his points. You know, most of his points from the free throw line. He's got one field goal, and he was 5 of 8 coming in 2, going 1 for 2 there. So he's 6 of 10 from the free throw line. But that's just how this team is built and how they play. Everyone attacks you off the bounce and drawing fouls, and they got to be more disruptive on the defensive end of the floor like this and create opportunities.
And they do here. Nice job by Gums to get the takeaway in the 2.
Great job there by Gums, being physical. With the dribble handoff at the point of attack and get through that screen as you see Drew Drennan heating the basketball up.
Dillon back the other way, finds Montgomery on the top, misses on the 3, and it's tapped around. And saved from going out. Good job there by Drew Drennan as he goes into the end of the bench. And over the stanchion, but he's back into play, and he's got it.
Expect him to try to put Jurjanovic in the ball screen. Just a great job here on the defensive end of the floor by Gums. Fighting through a dribble handoff. This is when you hear teams say blow it up. That's what they mean. Get physical. Creates the opportunity there. They got to junk the game up with opportunities like this. And this is even if they're making shots. I know they have to do it if they're not, but even if they're making shots, this is a style of play. They can't allow Bradley to run their offense, and they're just too inefficient of an offensive team to allow them to run this stuff. You got to be disruptive like that, blow up screens, deny the basketball. You got to change defense, just do a bunch of different things.
Montgomery was called for the foul for Bradley. It's a 12-point lead here. Comes again on a little fadeaway, doesn't go. Rebound by Pope, and he puts it back up and in.
Great job by Pope. He's an undersized big guy that loves to carve out space. But the one thing that bothers him is length, and Janovic has that.
Look at the moves by Dean, and he couldn't quite get it, but the rebound by Janovic keeps it alive, and a wide open 3 by Dillon. 5 of 10 now is Bradley from 3-point range. Missed the last couple. Foul here, going the other way.
Push in the back there.
Got it on Gums. Oh no, they're calling it on Bradley here. So Dean picks up his second. And now they say, wait a minute, because I saw the official pointing the other way.
Yeah. I think there's a mix up there. I think it's on Agar. Texas State needs to communicate. They got 6 guys on the floor right now. Someone needs to come out. And I think, the foul's on Agar pushing off. And to his third. So that's what you're forced to do.
Yeah.
You know, with 6 minutes to go in the first half, and you have a player with 2 fouls, and Coach Johnson, you'd want to trust the guy to avoid that third foul, and you don't want to get it going on for an offensive rebound.
Montgomery with a 1-and-1. This is the front half. Comes back the other way. Morgan, good feed inside for Pope, and he got fouled. It's going to be the second on Montgomery.
I think they have something there. That middle ball screen allows them. You can put Atlason in that ball screen, him or Yanovich. You can put any one of those guys in the middle ball screen. Neither is great defensively, and Atlason has had some challenges, in fouling himself, and it also gives you a chance to get closer to the basket and get the ball in Pope's hand, who's a double-digit scorer for you as well. See Coach Johnson telling Gums just to stay after it. I think he's pressing a little bit. He's taking a couple of quick shots. You know he's not coming out. He's not taking you out, and he's just trying to coach his guys through these challenges until they get, as the season builds on. It builds character when you go through things like this, and he's anticipating getting 2 of his 3 players that have been out with injury are back at some point, and they'll just be as healthy as they'll be all year. He's afraid he has 1 injury that may cost him a day. Bradley knocks down another 3.
Another 3 ball. That's number 6. Dean connects on it. First points of the night for him. Pope back inside. Couldn't get the easy one there on the runner, and quickly the other way. Hannah on the rebound. Back to Dean. Davis for 3. Wow. There it is again.
Wow. Great play by Dean. Getting deep in the lane. Playing off 2 feet. You could just see perimeter guys running to the 3-point line and knocking down another 3.
And knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be Bradley possession leading here.
Dean showing you why he's the preseason player of the year. You go under the screen. You have a lazy switch. Lack of communication. You don't want to make that mistake on him. Gets into the lane again. Finds his teammates. They are knocking down everything here. This is a really critical 5 minutes. If you're Texas State here, you want to try to keep this at 10 points or try to get under 10. When you're playing games like this and you're struggling, you want to try to win TV timeouts. You tell your guys, but the question you got to have is, for Texas State, is just bodies, just where they wear down. They're switching 5 right now on the defensive end of the floor.
Well, you're working so hard, and then all of a sudden you give up 2 back-to-back 3-pointers like that, and puts you back in the double-digit hole. 32-18 here, with just under 5 minutes to play in the first half.
Well, it's actually their offenses was hurting their defense. Defensively, when they've been able to set their defense, they've been solid.
Nice 3 here from Morgan. Comes back for Texas State. And that's their first 3 of the night. They're 1 for 5 from the outside, 8 of 25 overall. They've got it down to 11.
Now, you got to watch it if you're Bradley. You've been executing your offense. Don't take quick shots. Just run your stuff. You get whatever you want. Obviously, you're shooting it at a high clip. I think a few times down, they've tried to blow this open and taking some quick shots.
Davis, nice strong take, and he's going to get fouled by Turner. And the second on Turner.
Christian Davis is like the consummate glue guy. He's so efficient. He's the best on-ball defender for Bradley. Guards multiple positions. Knows what he is. Doesn't force anything. At 6'7", he can switch on guards. He can switch on big guys. Just part of the luxury we talk about, and being fortunate enough to have a glue guy who's essentially a 3-and-D guy. He's shooting over 40% from the 3-point line and just does a little bit of everything. He just makes winning plays.
First Bradley player from the state of Colorado in program history, from Denver, went to Lemoyne before his stop here at Bradley. His brother Nathan also played at Quinnipiac and Belmont Abbey. He was a senior here for Bradley. He's put them up 34-21. Here's another 3-point try. That's off the mark that time by Morgan. Johnson feeds Hannah. How about the way this Bradley team shares the ball?
Just really unselfish. The ball's moving from the second, third, and then back to the fourth side, and you knock down the shot. It's just great basketball.
That's how they're getting their open looks. Hannah knocks down a three-pointer as well.
That's what continuity gets you. You know, just the trust and belief. So first side, you get it to the second side, you get it to the third side, and they still reverse it again.
And hand on the rejection. They're doing it on both ends. 37-21. Largest lead of the game for Bradley. The presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Back at the Myrtle Beach Invitational here tonight. Just up the road in Conway, South Carolina. Home of Coastal Carolina here at the HTC Center. 37-21. Mike Corey, Randolph Childress as Bradley with the early command here in 3 minutes and 14 seconds to play in this first half. Randolph, 5 players have hit threes so far for the Bradley Braves.
The only thing stops Bradley is themselves. I mean, they've been turnover prone, but they've been, even now, they got 5 turnovers. I don't know if any of them was forced. It was just the aggressiveness. Some plays, the aggressiveness of Texas State defense was good, but they've had the tendency to be sloppy with the basketball. I don't think they've been sloppy today. They take what they can make shots. We know what they can. Offensively, they're a well-oiled machine because they're really unselfish and just play to the open guy, and we're seeing that right now. You have to force them to play bad on the offensive end.
Morgan, Drennan able to come up with it here and falling out of bounds, gets it up to the top.
Really been impressed with their defense. Really their length.
Tough fadeaway
there. Yeah, just great defense by Bradley. They're not leaving anyone on the island. And literally for Texas State, looks like 5 guys guarding the basketball.
Davis has it here for Bradley. Jonovic.
On Drew Drennan there. He's trying to get physical and get through that dribble handoff. When Jonovic is in the game, they don't want to switch. And that's the difference. When Atlason's in, they know he's a great three-point shooter. They're going to switch with him. But when Jonovic is in, they can't switch. He's just so big, so physical. So instead, the guards are trying to get physical, get through screens. And you see Coach Johnson over there, Terrence Johnson, telling the officials he's the only chance his guys have if they're allowed to get physical and get through those screens. And Drew Drennan just got a little handsy there.
Drennan picks up his second personal foul.
And he's forced to stay in. You can't take him out.
Right.
I mean, that's just the unfortunate part of the injuries that are just limited to this program here so far this early part of the season.
10-team fouls so far for Texas State in this first half. That's 7 fouls on Bradley.
Bradley in their 1-2-2. They drop back into man-to-man.
Gums on the drive. Cleared out and rebounded by Hannah.
So much length on the floor for Bradley now with Jonovic out there at 7 feet and Hannah at 6'9".
Look out! Right down the lane. Hamed Jonovic for the flush.
Hello, big fella. He's known for his physicality. He was fleet of foot on that one, catching at the free throw line and punching it coming down the lane. And no one wants to get in front of him and take a charge, I can tell you that.
Grabs the rebound, his team leading 7th of the afternoon, and it's a 20-point Bradley lead. Spinning his way in is Morgan, and he's going to be fouled. Let's go back to Jonovic running the floor well.
I mean, look how far he is when he catches this basketball and just catches it on a run and goes down the lane. And trust me, I've been on the weak side coming over like green, and I'm like, you make a business decision. You don't get in the way of that. You tell your coach, I got a guy, I got to shoot in the corner, coach. I can't rotate over there with you.
Jonovic from Serbia is on the national team. The junior is going to take a seat.
He is really important to this team. You know, added mobility, but his physicality is just, they just can't duplicate it with anyone on that roster. He knows that he embraces that role for this team. And everyone wants a guy like that, that if you're pressing his guards, he's like, hey, rub him off the screen. He loves contact, and you'll take a guy like that at any level.
Tough cover here in this game for sure. And Bradley's lead is 19 with a minute 25 to go in the first half. Dean with a little fadeaway on the baseline. Count it.
Of all the things that he does, his mid-range jump shot is money. I mean, he gets to his spots and particularly getting to that right hand.
First team all-conference selection last year. So far, so good here tonight. He's got 5 points. Everyone that's stepped on the court for Bradley except for one player has scored here. Shooting 58% from the field. They've knocked down 8 3-pointers.
This is what we're talking about, that ball screen where Atlas forces you to switch it, and now you got Pope on Dean.
Montgomery missing on the 3.
Yeah, just a great decision there by Dean, not forcing a shot. He had Pope on him. He could have ISO'd him. Instead, chose to pass it to his teammate.
Gums nice feed inside, gets it to Green. And a timeout. 27.5 seconds to go. We'll be back with the conclusion in a moment.
I've heard it all my life. Don't buy fancy coffee. But here's the thing. I like my daily dose of vanilla latte. With SEFQ's help, I know I'm managing and spending my money in a way that works best for me. And I can keep track of my spending just like that. Boom, mobile app. I'll take a muffin too. Since I got an account with SEFQ, I'm doing things my way, and that's what really matters. Ooh, that's good.
Third game of 4 here today in the Myrtle Beach Invitational. We've got Princeton and Wright State coming your way at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. Randolph and I will have that one for you. And then tomorrow, the semifinals get started. Winners bracket games going to be Middle Tennessee and South Florida. That's at 2 Eastern. And then the winners of these 2 games tonight at 5 o'clock on ESPNU.
It's a great win by South Florida. And everything that they've gone through, how can you not just cheer for them throughout the rest of the season? And just a unbelievable show of strength from that coaching staff and players.
No doubt. I'm going to go through the loss of head coach Amir Abdur-Rahim prior to the start of the season. Devastating blow for that team, organization, fan base, and all that knew him. That's the end of the half, and did we get a foul? Hold on here before the clock expired. Going to take a look at it. Bradley had gotten the rebound and were fouled before the clock expired. Let's see, they're going to discuss it.
It's a great job by Atlas in there. You know, with him in the game, you have to switch him as a ball screen. And he tried to catch it in air and shoot it before it coming down, which is smart on his part. He wouldn't have had enough time, and I think he's going to get it off in time.
Here's the rebound.
I think it did. I think
foul
he shoots, just a great play on his part.
Almar Atlason, number 1, was going after it. Austin Green, number 6 for Texas State, got him there with .1, it looked like, on the clock. And you saw the official there, Harat Ramnanan, who put his hand up to call for the foul. And it's when the contact occurs. So let's take a look here again.
I don't think there's any question that he's shooting 2 there.
Contact, yeah.
I think it's, and credit to Atlason. I mean, they're switching ball screens, so he's always going to have a guard on him inside. And you want to tell your guys, you don't get frustrated. They're not going to let you pick and pop. You want to go to the offensive glass, can try to continue to play, and he didn't settle, just stand into the 3-point line. The shot went up, crashed the glass. Presence of mind to try to tip it in without bringing it down, and it's being rewarded with 2 shots here to push the lead up to 21.
So Green got him with 0.2 seconds to go. Atlason for the 2 shots.
I jinxed him.
Yeah, broadcaster jinx continues. Could still make it a 20-point game here at the half, and that's what he does. 44-24. And that's it. We've reached the half in game number 3 of 4 in the Myrtle Beach Invitational. The quarterfinal round, Bradley leads Texas State by 20. Halftime report on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. The Myrtle Beach Invitational, game 1 here today with Middle Tennessee and Ohio. Kamari lands, sinking a 3-pointer to tie it at 75 all to go into overtime. But Middle Tennessee, Justin Porter, he scored 24 points, including 4 in overtime. And then at the end, A.J. Brown missing the 3 to try to win it for Ohio. And Middle Tennessee moves on to the championship bracket semifinals to take on South Florida, who knocked off Portland just a little while ago. Here at the half, it's Bradley and Texas State, and Bradley leads it by 20. We'll be back with more from Conway, South Carolina, after this. Welcome back to Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. 44-24 as Bradley leads Texas State here at the half, as we welcome you back to the Myrtle Beach Invitational from the HTC Center in Conway, South Carolina. Welcome again, everyone. Mike Corey alongside Randolph Childress. Really good first half, obviously, for the Bradley Braves. Knocking down 3-pointers. 5 different players hit them, and they're playing great on the defensive end, too.
Well, they're controlling the play on the defensive end. It allows them to challenge everything at the rim, extend out contested 3-point shots. They're really dominating this game that way. Their unselfishness on the offensive end of the floor, their 14 field goals, 10 of them have been assisted. And it's just Bradley basketball, just really unselfish, moving the basketball, moving bodies. And when they're knocking down 3-point shots, I mean, it makes them really difficult to guard, because the main issue they only have offensively is turning the basketball over. And here Janovich comes down the lane, draws the, punches that on someone. Now, look at the unselfishness, though. Everything is assisted. They just create unselfish play, playing together. Everyone's making a play for someone else. Just the ball's just flying around. It's not sticking. They're either passing it or shooting it. I mean, it's just clinical what's going on right now with Bradley. It's the way you want to play. Coach Walter has to be happy with his group on both ends of the floor.
Texas State coming right back to start this second half here. Tylen Pope takes it into the basket and a foul. And here's our game track today, brought to you by Visit Myrtle Beach. And you see some of the numbers with Gums, right? I mean, he's their top scorer for Texas State. Only had 3 points. I mean, they also are dealing with foul trouble in that first half as well, too, Randolph.
He drew a crowd early. I think he struggled. They chased him off the 3-point line, ran him inside to the length and to the help. And when he struggles, I think Texas State struggles, because they just don't have enough depth to overcome the challenges that they have right now. And you're playing against a team that has a tremendous amount of depth, and it's creating an issue.
Joshua Ogaro, number 23, who's back in for Texas State in white. He had 3 fouls in the first half. Morgan had 2. Drennan had 2. Bradley and the fadeaway Davis in and out, rebound by Pope, and you can almost already see a little bit more energy coming your way from Texas State here begin the second half.
Well, they're coming out again. This team plays hard as well, and when they're healthy and they have available bodies to them, they almost mirror Bradley the way they want to play. They want to play with ball movement, body movement, but it's hard to sustain, and this team has to be very careful, because 3 games in 4 days with limited bodies and not having the depth can really be an issue.
Rotation has been there in the first half from Bradley. They got a good look, but missing on 3 was Davis. And it's Morgan back the other way for Texas State. Talked about some of the injuries, as this one's knocked away by Montgomery.
Zeke Montgomery's having himself a day. I mean, he's doing it I think there's so much confidence with the way he's playing right now with 11 points here in just 16 minutes of play that he's played. Knocking down threes, really active on the defensive end. And he's a really skilled big guard. Just overplaying a reversal there on the switch. Sometimes when you got to slip screens, they're not going to let you reverse. Great job. When you switch, sometimes switch with a purpose, and that's what you saw there. They switched to deny, not let him reverse the basketball. Created a turnover and an easy pick six there.
Pope was just called for his second personal foul for Texas State. Getting the rebound there is O'Garo. Comes trying to be assertive here. Over to Turner, and the mid-range shot is good. Christian Turner connects. 17-point game. Hannah for three. In and out.
That's the only thing I think that stopped Bradley is that the offense has come so easy. When it's been one pass and a shot, I think they've rushed it and struggled some.
There's Pope in the finish.
When they get to the second and third side of the floor, I think their efficiency level is just really, really high when they do that. And this coach calls a timeout. He's not really happy with the way his team started this half.
Terrence Johnson's group has started this half out well, lead down to 15.
I've heard it all my life. Don't buy fancy coffee. But here's the thing. I like my daily dose of vanilla latte. With SEFQ's help, I know I'm managing and spending my money in a way that works best for me. And I can keep track of my spending just like that. Boom, mobile app. I'll take a muffin too. Since I got an account with SEFQ, I'm doing things my way, and that's what really matters. Ooh, that's good.
You.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Second half action, 17:26 to play as Bradley leads by 15. Mike Corey, Randolph Childress, welcome back to the Myrtle Beach Invitational. It was a 20-point game at the half, and then, as we thought, Texas State with a little bit more energy and assertiveness in this second half, they cut the lead down by 5.
Sometimes you get comfortable when you get big lead like that. And I thought Bradley on the offensive end is pretty the issues because they come down and it's one pass and a quick shot. When you've been so efficient shooting over 50% from the floor, over 40 from three, you're getting easy offense when it happens. And sometimes you get too relaxed, start getting quick shots and allowing them to get back in the game. And I think that's what they've done to allow Texas Tech to push on those misses and get out in transition.
3 of 4 for Texas State to start the second half. 1 for 5 for Bradley. Davis. Rejected by O'Garo.
Really aggressive defense by O'Garo. And he has 3 fouls. He has to be really careful. They're trying to attack him and put him in ball screens and switches. Great block there.
Trying a little alley-oop here to Jonovich. Two seconds on the shot clock here for Bradley to shoot.
Look for Dillon coming off a screen or Jonovich, some type of lob inside.
Davis feeds it underneath, and there's going to be a foul as he got it to Duke Dean, and that is the second time that that's happened in this game here. If you're Texas State, fouling Bradley with 1 on the shot clock.
And this one upsets you as a coach because you teach your guys when they're defending the guy on the inbounding the basketball, his job is to protect the rim. You make everything go toward the sideline, not underneath the basket. And I know Drew Drennan is upset about that foul, but you're supposed to have help from whoever's defending the inbound or to protect the inbound pass. Nothing goes underneath the basket.
1 of 2 at the line for Dean.
Now Bradley's into their zone, which is it's going to force Texas State to knock down some shots. And shooting from 3 is not their strength. Their best three-point shooter on the bench, and Drew Drennan.
1 for 7 so far in this game. Pope, though, is playing well here to start the second half, knocking down the little hook shot. And he's got 11 points to lead Texas State in scoring.
He uses his body well. A really good face-up shooter. Also, he has that in his range.
Gudovich, and fouled on his way in.
They're putting Pope in the ball screen now, so he has to help. They want to keep a bot. They need to keep his physicality on Yanovich, but he has to help Gums on the ball screen. And Turner was in the corner, and they have to decide where they're going to help, either the strong side corner or coming from the weak side. And it's difficult to defend. You got to commit early when the ball screen's in the middle of the court. You just don't have a lot of time to decide. It comes from the strong side to the weak side so fast. Got to have your weak side help there already organized.
So Turner with his 3rd personal foul for Texas State.
And he can't come out of the game.
Right.
They're just limited with bodies. And
there's 4 players that they've dealt with injuries. Dylan Dawson, who's played in just 3 games this year, but has averaged over 10 points, has been out for the last couple of games, including tonight. And then you've got 3 players who have yet to see the court.
Yes.
Right? In Frank Emu, Mark Drone, and Colton Benson,
yes,
who Coach loves.
Yeah, he's his best shooter. And 3 of these guys are starters. And that's just a difficult ask for anyone that missed 3 starters this early in the year, and for a few of them not to have played.
Yeah, he talks so much about Benson and how he was really this lead and one of the leaders on this team. And without him, he's like, it was hard to kind of describe to us about what this team was all about because we haven't seen him this year.
You haven't.
Foul here as Morgan goes in. He's going to get 2 at the line when we return. Bradley 49, Texas State 33. Second half. Back with more in a moment.
I've heard it countless times. It doesn't matter where you get your car loan, but it should. When I got my car loan, SEFQ's experts and resources gave me all the help I needed, plus competitive rates and flexible terms. And their free pre-approval let me know my budget right away. So I knew exactly what I could afford before I even got here. And now, this ride is all mine.
Bloods in Las Vegas. For Flag and the Blue Devils take on Hunter Dickinson and the Jayhawks. The Terry's Chocolate Vegas Showdown. Number 12 Duke, number 1 Kansas. Tuesday on ESPN.
It's coming your way on Tuesday. And that's going to be awesome. Duke and Kansas. And how about Zeke Mayo, the South Dakota State transfer for Bill Self's group, and what he's done so far?
He just brings shot-making ability and another secondary ball handler. Had the privilege of seeing him at the Champions Classic, and he's one of the leaders of the team in assists as well. What he brings to that team now is scary. It's one of the reasons that team is ranked number 1, the transfer class coming in. He and Griffin from Alabama and A.J. Storrs from Wisconsin. They just added to an already loaded Kansas Jayhawk team.
Tyrell Morgan here at the line for Texas State. 8 points on the night. Dug such a deep hole that, you know, when you're limited like this group right now, it's hard to come back. Still down by 16. It was 20 at the half.
Sometimes you get in foul trouble, you get passive and tentative, and I think they just came out and just said, just play. If you're going to foul out, you're going to foul out. And sped Bradley up a little bit, and now their player of the year point guard there just knocks down a three to settle him down. Just like, wait a minute, guys, I got this.
Yeah, Duke Dean's got 2 threes. He's got 9 points on the night and a foul inside. He's going against Johnson, his third.
He picks up his third, and you look down, and then oh, by the way, it's Zeke Montgomery coming back in.
Yeah, right. What about what Pope has done here? The transfer out of Nevada, first year here for Texas State. Big body, can run the floors. You see him playing aggressive, right? He's picked up a couple fouls, but it's been aggressive play, and he can take the ball to the rim. And he's one of their leaders so far here tonight. He's got 12 points at team high.
He's a matchup nightmare because he has a level of mobility about him, and he's 6'6", he's strong, he's 240 pounds, and he carves out a lot of space, and he has leverage. So when he seals you, it's hard to move him. But on the other side, when you're dealing with Hamed Jovanovic, his size as a footer at times give Pope some challenges, and he's in there now. And now they can't switch with him now, so now they're trying to keep a body on a body, and now that allows Dean to get down the lane.
Knocked around, Texas State has it. O'Garo running the floor. A little too strong. Pope in there battling for it. He's got it, puts it up, no foul, and it's into the hands of Jovanovic.
That's what I say. I mean, the impact of Jovanovic, the way he's dictating the defensive coverage now because you can't. Pope has to stay home with him. They're going to pick up the ball screen now.
Another wide open look for three. It was Atlason that missed it, but an offensive rebound by Davis, and now Dean for three. That's no good, and O'Garo's got it again.
Jovanovic is also impacting the game at the rim. He's helping on drives like this.
And Gums for the bucket and the foul.
A lot of contact there early, and great job switching his left hand and keeping it away from Jovanovic, potentially getting the and one there. Dean is thinking he got away with a push off.
Jovanovic gets called for the second personal foul. You talked about Gums earlier and his incredible story, right? His family was displaced by Katrina, and this is when he was very young. They were trying to get to Texas, and they were trying to get close to San Antonio, and the story goes that they stopped at a local grocery store on the way, and this lady had kind of helped them out and got them some food, and they stayed overnight, and that was in San Marcos, Texas.
She asked them to come to church. Dad stopped because he was tired and pulled over on their way to San Antonio from Hurricane Katrina, and stopped in San Marcos, and just an unbelievable story. Go to church, and then now he's never left. He was there. He was 5 months old at the time, and it's home. They say he's a legend there. Just an unbelievable story. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Bradley's Atlason puts it in. We're talking about Gums there, who's got the ball right now for Texas State. Sophomore, second year with the program, leading scorer, 17 points a game. Now he finds Turner, who puts up a three and drains it. Christian Turner, and we're at a 14-point game now with just over 13 to play.
This team is capable of making runs. Can they sustain the run? Now, Atlason in, and they're switching ball screens. Great job defending the ball there. Now they're forced to switch.
Turner got a piece of it. Oh, what a pass down low, and the rebound off the miss is Green, who puts it back up and in after Morgan wasn't able to get it on the break, and we're down to 12 here.
There's no rim protection out there now. So the guys know that. They're altering their defense when Jovanovic is in.
It's going to be a foul on Gums, reaching around for Texas State.
Just coming out. Just continue to play hard here. Pushing it simple. Great pass and finds. coming in. But when you get down big like this and you pull all your way back, now you force your coach to go to the bench because they're fatiguing a little bit. Can you sustain this type of defensive intensity?
3 fouls on Gums, by the way, so he's out for Texas State. 4th team foul of the second half. Both teams have 4. Montgomery, he's got 11 points, 2 behind the team leader in Davis. Montgomery on the take, and that one in and out. He tapped it back, and a rebound by Bradley, and a foul is going to be called on Morgan, and he's upset with himself, but he did get a hand in there and a reach in. He's going to pick up his 3rd.
Well, that's on the guards there. Weak side rotates over challenges, and the guards didn't come and help the big guys out there. When the ball's tipped out, your guards got to run that down. Can't keep giving Bradley second opportunities here. You're under man inside. You got to help him out.
You can't let it become a free throw fest either down the stretch. Bradley, the free throw line, 11 of 15 in this game for 73%, right around their average of the season. And now it's an offensive foul on the Braves.
Didn't keep his feet still, tried to slide over and set that baseline runner screen, got called for the foul.
Atlason with 2. 5th team foul. Texas State a chance to get it down to 10 or in single digits with a 3.
They want to attack Atlason in that middle ball screen.
This is going to be a moving screen here. It's going to be on Pope. His 3rd.
That's on Drew Drennan there. There's lack, you got to allow the big. He's coming to set the screen. Go too quick. Sometimes those screens are on the guard. He's just moving too quickly. You got to allow the big to stop.
Johnson, fade away, count it. Jaquan Johnson.
Now Yanovich is back in the game. They switched again. They had identified the defense. But Atlason's has been subbed out. They don't even switch that.
First points for Johnson tonight, and there's a foul on the way up, and Morgan is going to shoot free throws when we come back. Brian Wardle and his father, Jim. Taxi Dad, what's that all about? We'll explain when we come back.
I've heard it all my life. Don't buy fancy coffee. But here's the thing. I like my daily dose of vanilla latte. With SEFQ's help, I know I'm managing and spending my money in a way that works best for me. And I can keep track of my spending just like that. Boom, mobile app. I'll take a muffin too. Since I got an account with SEFQ, I'm doing things my way, and that's what really matters. Ooh, that's good.
To 42, and Coach Brian Wardle for Bradley, his father Jim, has meant so much to him over the years, and a guy who was a professional musician. He was in a traveling band called Taxi. He played the bass guitar, and then he had owned a sign shop called Murphy's Sign Studio, and that's where Coach Wardle said that he learned a lot of great lessons of work ethic and things that were instilled in him by his father Jim and his family, and that he still uses and holds true here today. His father Jim passed away last summer, but he'd be very proud, of course, and the coach in Brian Wardle and the career that he has had here at Bradley.
He absolutely would be. His son is one of the best coaches in college basketball right now, and he holds every lesson that his dad taught him dearly to him, and it's part of his DNA that he injects into his programs.
And we talked a lot about this yesterday in terms of keeping, retaining players, building a program. And I asked him, how do you do that? And it's about connecting with the players, but being the same person and being consistent, right? That was a big deal to him that he talked to us about.
And I think it's important because he's the same yesterday. We noticed it in his practice yesterday. His guys were a little, when they were sloppy in practice yesterday, he got on them. He was just consistent. He doesn't wait until, he's the same coach at when they were up 20 to when Texas State comes out and go on a run and cut this lead to 12. He's just the same guy. And that's what you want as a player. And we talked about it, and everyone has a different way of saying it, but it's like you can coach guys tough because he's an intense guy, but he loves them hard, and they know it.
Hannah with a three-pointer for Bradley, and then Gums comes back with a runner here for Texas State, and it's a 13-point game. But you're right, you were telling me some stories, you know, back when you played, and, you know, whether it was, you know, your teams or your friends or your players that played on other teams where the coach, you know, would be one way one day and then one way the other, and after a win or after a loss, and you didn't know what you would expect coming into a practice or before a game, and that's the exact opposite of Coach Ward.
The players pick up on that when you're in a losing streak and you're wearing it, and you decide that day in practice you want to be really on to the guys. You know, that's not what Coach Water wants. He's just consistent. Now, his players will say he's grumpy all the time. They may say that, but your players know if you're not, you have to be consistent and maintain a level of excellence in the coach of your program. You can't ride the waves of winning and losing basketball games, because if your behavior isn't consistent as a coach, you can't expect the results of your team to be consistent.
Coach Wardle was the youngest Division I head coach at the time when he took over Green Bay. Remember, he was an assistant for 5 years, was the head coach at 5 years at Green Bay, and it's really kind of a tough situation probably in terms of your sports allegiance, right? Because he's actually a huge Chicago Bears fan.
He is. He's the only Bears fan. He's struggling now. When I talked to him a couple of months ago, the Bears come out the gate. They were really good, and then they're struggling now. But he's the only Bears fan in his family, surrounded by Packers fans with his wife and kids. And he thinks the future's bright with Caleb Williams, though. He's fully sold on him. Yeah,
it's going to be okay. Timeout, Texas State. They've cut it down to 13. And Coach Wardle and company, they'll talk it over. And on the other side, Terrence Johnson and Texas State. Second annual NBA Cup continues tomorrow night with another group stage doubleheader. We've got Steph and the Warriors taking on the Pelicans at 7:30 Eastern. Warriors number 1 in the West at 11-3 so far to begin this season. Then the Mavericks and the Nuggets. That's at 10 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Curry's going to find himself in the MVP conversations as the season goes on. If he continues to stay healthy, playing the way he's playing, and as good as the Warriors look. Tough news out of Dallas with Luka Doncic is out with a wrist injury, and puts a lot of pressure on Kyrie and Klay Thompson there, former Warrior.
I was wondering what it was going to be like without Thompson, right?
Yeah, we all were. I think everybody was anticipating, wasn't sure how it would look, but they've gotten younger, they've gotten more athletic. I think they're better defensively, and they have quality depth. As long as you have that guy in your team, you got a shot. Texas State extends their pressure in a 1-2-2.
Got it over with a couple seconds to spare. Davis has it, hands it back off to Dean. Dean's got 9 points, 8 assists in this game for Bradley. 13 assists on the 20 made baskets for the Braves in this one. Dean for a 3. It's good. How big is that?
Pope switched out on him at that time. When you're a big guy and you're not accustomed to defending on the perimeter, you don't always know the scouting report on the guard. You got to get out to Dean and close out with high hands. And Pope got caught with his hands in his pocket on that one.
Comes on the drive.
He's picking it up, starting to pick his spots down, seeing the basketball go through, and comes in his second half and starting to have an impact on this game.
He's got 9 points, 4 of 11 from the field. It's a 14-point game. Dean, though, up top here. Jonovic, and it got knocked out of his hands. Good job by Morgan. It goes out of bounds. Bradley retains possession.
I thought Duke Dean had another, Pope on an ISO again. If he chose to take advantage of it, looked inside to throw it to Yanovich, and who has the point guard on him. Let's see if they continue to, if Texas State continues to switch 5 or not. They're going to go right back to this middle ball screen.
Dean. Davis. Baseline, tough shot, count it, and the foul. Christian Davis with a game-high 15 points and the chance for the three-point play.
He's showing he's just so much more than an offensive player. They're just in control. Garo's on him. He just bullies him. It's just a difficult guard. I mean, he's 6'7" with guard skills. He's just efficient. He knows what he is, and they're not counting on him to be their leading scorer. But if he is, I mean, this team will be a difficult challenge. They're already the preseason favorite in Missouri Valley Conference, and you get Davis scoring double figures consistently for with Hannah and Montgomery and Dean, and what the combination of Atlason and Yanovich brings.
Ogaro picked up his 4th personal foul. He's out. Morgan the other way for Texas State. Back up for Gums. Drennan feeds it Morgan. Nice reverse for the bucket.
Texas State does a really good job when someone drives. They cut off the dribble penetration, so you can't get stuck watching the basketball on the weak side. Your offensive player is cutting.
Morgan's missed a couple games this year. He's coming off the concussion. First game back, nice job there. Now they force a turnover. And Texas State gets it back with a 15-point deficit. They're still just trying to crack into that single-digit range, right? Every time they seem to get it down, right? 10, 12, somewhere in there. Then like a three-pointer goes up and in for Bradley.
Just a great job by Texas State. Just continue to compete. They got to give themselves a chance offensively. Pick and choose your attack. A great job again. Cutting off the drive. Keep your spacing.
Tap back out that time by Bradley into the hands of Texas State. Now it's Morgan. He's going to be called for steps. Double dribble, in fact. Turnovers in this game. 9 for Texas State now. 7 for Bradley.
That's just typical of how this game has gone for Texas State. You're trying to claw back in it and create a turnover on a possession before it, and you come down and you just give it right back.
15-point game here. Montgomery battling his way in. He's had a nice game tonight. Miss is still fighting for it. It's going to be Green that hauls it in for Texas State.
If you notice, when the guards penetrate, they're playing off 2 feet because they're looking for the cutters.
Morgan again. There it is.
Morgan has a really good turnaround in that post. Whether he's big is guarding him or perimeter guy, he's very comfortable because he shoots that fadeaway.
Team high 14 points now and 5 of 10 from the field. 13-point game. Been in this situation numerous times tonight, but here it is again. It's Dean. Misses on the 3 this time. Gums has it. Gums to the hole. No, but he got fouled, and he'll shoot free throws when we return. 7:02 remaining in the contest here tonight. The Myrtle Beach Boardwalk as you're watching the Myrtle Beach Invitational. We'll be back with more from Conway, South Carolina after this.
Christian Davis, known as more of a glue guy, just an added piece and the best defender here for Bradley, but he's showing you he has an offensive package. He's knocked down a couple of threes, just got to his spots in rhythm, as you see here. With a team high 16 points, doing it off the bounce, playing bully ball as well. They can get offensive consistency like this out of him. Just sky's the limit for what this team could be. And you can look for that team, if they're going to get this type of effort out of him, they're going to be a difficult challenge in the Missouri Valley Conference for anyone to deal with.
Well, they got a lot of depth. We know that. We've seen it here tonight. 9 players have stepped on the floor. 8 of them have scored. They've had 8 different players who've hit a three-pointer as well this season as well. They've got 6 of their top 8 scorers back from last year. It's a team that's primed to kind of make a run here, obviously in their conference in the Missouri Valley. You look at the preseason poll here, and overwhelmingly the #1 ranked team in terms of the preseason with 46 first-place votes out of the 49.
Yeah, a lot of continuity back with this group, and you see the flashes of it early. But when you've had so much success like they have, the tendency with success sometimes is to get complacent. And I think they have laws of that. And I think the one Achilles heel that they've had so far early this season is turning over the basketball. They've done a better job of that today. Only 7 turnovers. It's been great for this group. 14 assists. So you love that 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, and 14 assists on 22 baskets is really good as well.
Drennan with a foul, and it's a 1-and-1 as that was the 8th team foul. So 12 of 17 is Bradley at the line here, but then the turnover and another foul. It's on Drennan, who picks up his 3rd. 2 quick ones right there.
That's a frustration foul there, just coming off the turnover. But you got to be careful now because Bradley's in the bonus, so you're frustrated with that foul, that turnover, and you commit a foul, and now you're putting points on the board.
Returning for Texas State, number 9, Tyler Pope.
Hannah's here stepping to the line. He's been really efficient as well. He's right at his average of 13 points a game.
Hannah. Rebound Pope. What are you thinking here on this set? They try to get down to single digits.
You're going to attack Thomas here in the ball screen, and he's hedging.
Gums, tapped by Drennan, and he gets it over to Davis, who misses on, or Turner, who missed on the 3, but it's out of bounds, staying with Texas State.
They're trying to put Corey Thomas in a ball screen there and see if he switch. He's not switching. He's defending like Yanovich, and he's trying to show and recover and get back to his man.
10 seconds on the shot clock. They get it in here, and it's up top for Morgan. In and out, Pope battling for it. Look at that hustle, but it goes right into the hands of Duke Dean. And a foul from behind. It's on Gums.
That's the luxury that Bradley has when they're struggling. Gums picks up his 4th foul. Hannah plays on the perimeter, but when he gets a small guard on him, he's going to run you into the post and try to post you up. And Gums, you got to get around and try to front him, but that's difficult when you have the length of Hannah.
He stays in with the 4 personal fouls here. And Bradley's in the double bonus for the rest of the game. Automatic 2 free throws every time they get fouled from here on out. 5:48 now. Gums goes out. And O'Garl is back in, but not much better in the foul situation because he's got 4 as well. And Drennan to the bench here. Oh, so Gums going to stay in.
He's got to rotate those guys because he's got to have one of them on the floor, but he wouldn't have any point guard or decision maker if he doesn't do that. He'd be forced to maybe go to Jalen Jones, who wasn't expected to play much, but because of the injuries this team had he's been forced to play this season.
Yeah, so Gums and O'Garl, 11 and 23 respectively in white for Texas State. Each have 4 fouls. Morgan to Pope. Back to Gums, gets a step, finds the cutter O'Garl, and he is fouled. And it's going to be Dean who picks up the ticket, and that's going to be his 2nd.
It's just really hard to do.
Excuse me. 3rd. 4th foul on Dean. 9th team foul on Bradley, and Dean's going to go out. So we'll see if that changes things a little bit for the Braves with 5:33 to go.
It's a big part of the game right now. 4 fouls with Dean out right now. You're down 12 points here, 11 with the free throw. You have a chance to make it a 10-point game. Bradley's best player is out of the game right now in foul trouble. You gotta make your push right now with 5 minutes and 33 seconds left to go. They continue to do a great job of getting to the paint and locating the cutters, cutting from the weak side.
Well, Garo's done a great job at the free throw line, as you saw. He's 2 for 2 tonight, 22 of 24 in the season. This ball goes out of bounds off of Bradley. Off of Johnson. Texas State inbounding underneath their own basket, down by just 10 now with 5:33 to play.
Hang on here, because this is what Bradley has done. I think that's
well,
the call there.
I don't think
ball hits the ground before that. Ryan's waving them off. Ryan Wardle's waving the official off. I think they ball definitely hit the ground. Texas State rewarded with the basketball here. Big opportunity here.
Yeah, that's one that they catch a break on for sure. Then Pope gets it taken away. And on the break, here's Montgomery. Look out. Morgan for Turner. And Texas State, which had a little gift there on the baseline, couldn't take advantage of it. Now they do, and they get Gums going down the lane for 2. All right, it's back to 10, Randolph.
It's a great opportunity there. And again, you cut it to 10.
It was a 20-point game at the half. Wardle certainly upset, as you can see, and Terrence Johnson's group on the other side has cut the deficit in half, and they still have 5:03 to work with here. And both teams are going to be in the double bonus for the rest of this game, because Bradley's got 9, so one more, that's 10. Texas State's already committed 10 fouls, so everybody's shooting free throws for every foul the rest of the way. Let's keep that in mind. Bradley is 13 of 20, 65%. Texas State 16 to 22 at 73%.
And you got to wonder for Coach Wardle, his concerns with his team and take care of the basketball. Now, Dean's on the bench with 4 fouls. Do you put him back in the game and risk the momentum completely shifting? Because this game gets down to 3 points or 4 points, you have a difficult challenge. And he's still going to ride with Dean on the bench right now, but I wonder how long he'll leave them there. And
I wonder if he's waiting to that final media timeout.
Yeah,
right
I think
under
he's going
4
to try
at some point, get him back in.
You want to try to save him as much as you can, and you need his free throw shooting ability and decision making on the floor, and how they handle these next 2 possessions, I think, will dictate what he decides to do. You can't risk him game getting close with him on the bench. Montgomery with 13 points. 3rd on the team here tonight. Dumps it inside. Jonovic, double team. Pope getting in there to tie him up. That should be a jump. It is. It stays with Bradley, and there's 7 to shoot. Great job by Pope, sliding his feet. I mean, when you switch 5 like that, you're asking your big guy, he's 240 pounds. You're asking him on one possession to bang with Jonovic, and then you're asking him to stay in front of these guards. And that's without many seconds of coming out of the game. I mean, he's expending a lot of energy. Jonovic trying to hand it off, and did we get a foul here on Morgan, or is it just knocked out? Yeah, it is a foul on Morgan. Got him on the hold there. That's his 4th. And as a coach, I know you're frustrated because you just teach dribble handoffs, get physical, get through the screen. And I know Coach Johnson doesn't like the call, but his guys are doing a heck of a job trying to fight and get over that dribble handoff. It's a career high in points here for Christian Davis. He's got 17. 5 of 9 from the field, and perfect at 4 for 4 from the free throw line as well. He's been incredible. I mean, yeah. You're not expecting that type of offensive production from him. You know, he's known as a the best on-ball defender, but his versatility defensively we've spoken about, but the production he's given, and his percentage has been great coming in. I mean, he's shooting over 40% from three, 54% from the field. He just doesn't get a lot of looks. And if he gets aggressive and can maintain his high level of percentage.
Gums takes a big hit. He's going to head to the line here. And so Davis picks up the foul. Davis, who had 6 points, 6 rebounds in the last game, and then here tonight, 18 and 3, with now his 4th personal foul. But he has been the story for Bradley. Leads all scorers in this game here tonight.
Gums just has an extra gear. He wants to get back to that right hand, but he changes gears exceptionally well. He's really quick, fast, at the same time. And, you know, some guys, it takes a long time to change gears to get to their top speed. Doesn't take Gums long. When he puts his foot in the ground, he moves pretty quick.
Right around his average here. It's going to be his 15th point of the night. He averages 17. He had 16 in the last game.
He's gotten off to a slow start in the first half, but he's picked things up here in the second half. Things have settled down for him. I think they've been able to identify the substitution pattern, and the length isn't bothering him as much as it did in the first half.
See, Texas State trailed by as many as 21 with 1:23 to go in the first half. It's down to 10. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining here in the game. Johnson gets by O'Garo and almost got the bucket and the foul, but O'Garo is going to foul out. That's his 5th. And Johnson's going to get 2 at the line. So O'Garo with 6 points, 7 boards. His night is done.
The problem is that Janovich is in the game, and you see Pope doesn't want to help off of Janovich in that middle ball screen there, and just forces a guard to come through and fight the screen. He's late, tries to make a play on the basketball, and the foul is committed. But that's the impact of Janovich and what he brings to this team. You don't want to switch a guard on him in the middle of the floor and having him rolling down the middle of the lane, because if the shot goes up, your guard has absolutely no chance to get the rebound.
O'Garo's going to be a big factor for this Texas State team, though, this season. There's no doubt about it. 4-star prospect from coming out of high school, from the Cayman Islands, and went to Oklahoma for a year, San Jose State, Colby Community College, and now here in his 2nd season at Texas State, and they're going to rely on him heavily as the season progresses.
They have, and he gets to the free throw line often and makes his shots, but his motor's ability, he just fits the system well. He's very active. He cuts often from the weak side. A little over-aggressive, I think, defensively here tonight, but this team plays with a level of physicality, and I don't think Coach will be upset with the way they fought. No.
Still within range here if you're Texas State. Down 11, 4 minutes and change to go. Turner feeds it, foul line, Morgan. Little short, Pope in there trying to gather it. Did he touch it last? He did.
Yeah, he couldn't track it there. He was tracking, expecting it to hit the rim, and when it fell short, they were in there 1-2-2 pressing.
Alley-oop time, Janovich.
That's what you want to do, the full court pressure there. Zeke Montgomery on the inbounder with double team James and Jaquan Johnson in the corner.
And a steal, Jaquan Johnson for the easy one. And that's 4 quick points, and that's going to really put the hurt on here with 3:36 to go. Timeout taken. And as we've said before, every time that Texas State is kind of trying to get back in it.
Just a great way to punish his press. Alley-oop and finish. Bradley running away with things.
College basketball is brought to you by VisitMyrtleBeach.com. Find where you belong at the beach. Myrtle Beach Invitational, and this is game 3 of 4 here tonight. As you're watching Feast Week, presented by Lowe's, as here's our bracket. Bradley with a 15-point lead right now, going to try to hang on for another 3:36 to advance to the winner's bracket with the semifinals tomorrow. Taking on the winner of Princeton and Wright State. We'll have that for you at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. Congrats to Middle Tennessee with an overtime win, and USF with the win today. They're in the winners bracket semifinals tomorrow.
Just outstanding games, and even this game, you know, right when you think Bradley's going to pull away, Texas State makes a run, and these last 2 minutes of the game, the zone by Bradley and the length has been giving him some trouble. And see if Coach Johnson can draw up something to get an easy basket here. Someone's going to be forced to knock down some shots.
Big difference in this game is the three-pointers. 11 for Bradley, 11 to 25, 44% for Texas State. 2 of 8 from three-point range. 15-point game. Yonovich knocked it away from behind, but Pope somehow able to gather it, put it up, no. Fight for an offensive rebound. Good job by Morgan. They get it back out for Gums. Floater, count it.
Good job by Gums attacking on the offensive rebound. He tried to come up and set a ball screen against the zone to get him downhill. Bradley did a good job of defending that action.
One thing, though, about this Bradley team, right, it's just a veteran group, right? I mean, I know we were talking about the lead got down to 10. Wardle called a timeout. We were thinking, hey, do you got to get Dean back in? No, they got enough guys out there to recognize, hey, we're not going to let this team come back from a 21-point deficit.
Enough experience with this group, and just shows you the depth. On cue, we talked about it. He's about to check in the game. We'll bring him in, and Christian Davis to kind of close this thing out for Bradley Braves.
3 seconds on the shot clock here.
Call to jump off.
Oh, it's going the other way, excuse me. Yeah.
Texas,
yeah.
Texas State.
Pardon me.
Can't have long possessions now. You're under 3 minutes, 13 point in the game. Got to make the quick decisions. Try to get a good shot as quickly as possible.
I'd like to try to get something on the outside, but they haven't been able to hit a lot of threes here tonight. They're off the mark. Rebound by Johnson. Bradley contains it. And here's Montgomery. Well, I know we were watching the earlier game with USF and Portland, and it was coming down to the wire, right? I think there was, what 17 seconds to go. A team was down 3, and you know we were watching. And they put up a three-pointer. You say, hey, what about that quick 2 there in that situation?
Well, that game was 17 seconds left in the Portland game, and you know when you make a decision down 3 with 17 seconds left to take a 3, you're deciding the game at that point.
This game's decided here as Darius Hannah throws it down. And the Bradley fans that have made the trip here to Myrtle Beach, watching their group keep Texas State at bay here with a minute and a half to go.
This is the guards that are missing in what they do. No one in the Missouri Valley dunks it better than that. Fakes the handoff. Drew Drennan was expecting to switch. Darius Hannah had other things in mind as he goes down the lane with that nasty lefty dunk there. All but ending the hopes of Texas State trying to make a comeback here.
Pope's going to be another one that they'll rely on this season for Texas State. He's been battling here tonight. He's got 14 points. Perfect at the line, 6 for 6. 15 points now, is 2 behind Gums for the team high.
And this is a balanced team, Texas State, in scoring. You know, as they get healthy and get their bench back, they're unselfish with the basketball as well, as we've seen. They just need to get bodies so they can sustain this type of pressure defensively. It's hard to continue to do this and you don't have depth.
Dean went down and it was holding his right leg here, and he's trying to walk it off. He's over in the corner. That is absolutely the last thing that Bradley needs here with a double-digit lead in this game pretty much in hand. He wants to try to just walk it off, but this. Let's see if we can see what happened here to him. That right knee.
grabbing that knee.
All right, so he goes out. There's just over a minute to go. Davis for three, and that's what they've done in this game. 12th three-pointer. Davis with 21, adding to his career high.
Why not? Who else would you expect to make a play when Dean hadn't played great today and hadn't had his best stuff? And no worries, Christian Davis been there to pick him up. It's also giving Quan Johnson a chance, the freshman, to have minutes and finishing games like this. You know, he was out there. Dean was on the bench, you know, with foul trouble when he picked up that fourth foul. And
Pope picks up a foul, his fourth for Texas State. Just 18.6 seconds to go. And Bradley, who came into this game at 3-1, their only loss to Washington State on the road. Going to move on to the semifinals here, the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Tomorrow, you're going to take on the winner of Princeton and Wright State, which we'll have for you. Now you see Dean kind of smiling a little bit there, so let's hope that just got banged on the knee there and it's not that serious, and he'll be ready for tomorrow.
good to see him smile.
Yeah.
Both teams now have to worry about tomorrow. It's a quick turnaround. And this early in the year, you're not used to playing back-to-back games. And this has been a physical game.
It has. Comes. Runner's good, and he got fouled. 12.6. And so you think about this, if you're Texas State, look at Wardle right to the end here. He doesn't want to even see this, right?
What are we doing, guys? That's what he's saying. Like, no coach wants a guy to, it was 18 seconds left, and he goes coast to coast and gets to that one in 6 seconds. He's not, as we talked about it, he's consistent. He's going to coach his guys. You know, every second on the clock matters.
And he's coached them to a 14-point win here tonight. 82-68 the final as they knock off Texas State and advance to the semis. They are now 4-1 on the season. Texas State drops to 2-3. Bradley led by Christian Davis, a career-high 21 points for the senior from Denver, Colorado. They got 16 from Hannah, 13 from Montgomery, and Duke Dean with 12 tonight to lead the way for the Braves.
Just a great all-around effort. Everyone chipped in. See Bradley there taking advantage of tonight. I thought they just came out with a great performance offensively and established the dominance in the first half and just cruised to the win.
Game 3 of 4 in the books, and we still have one more to go with Princeton and Wright State. That's going to start in about 25 minutes from now on ESPN+, and we'll have that one for you as well. Bradley wins it, 82-68 the final here over Texas State. Stay tuned for the fourth and final game coming up on ESPN+ with Princeton and Wright State. Until then, for Randolph Childress, Mike Corey, so long for now. From Myrtle Beach, you've been watching the 2024 Myrtle Beach Invitational.